getting it all out.
Good. Get it out now. We're good.
Oh man. Oh, where's this shit at?
Are we
We are live.
Yeah,
We
we're
are
live.
Oh,
I hit the button. I'm just trying to send out the link for some people.
I have 3 sheets to happy, so let's do this. Daddy's had a rough night. Daddy's feeling good tonight, so let's go.
I mean,
DuckTales.
weird that you want us to call you
That's
daddy.
a great game, but all right.
I forget
Strange,
where. Okay, chat's here. That's just a chat in here. Probably pull up YouTube.
Yeah, it was weird. Tuesday night when I joined in, I was joined in under guest, and the whole setup looks different. So there's that.
Yep.
All right. So we're good. Everything's sent out. Oh, cool. Man, I'm tired as fuck. But welcome to Collector's Hideout, the show where we get together, talk shit about different things, different topics each week, and get away from the real world and the problems that persist in it. Tonight we are discussing, as we just said on Tuesday, we're going to do video game topic tonight, and we really didn't have a topic until 3 hours ago, roughly. Psycho hit me up. He's like, "Yeah, I have an idea," and I like the idea. And for a cheap, quick version or a Cliff Notes version of the idea, it's people or a lot of people are getting out of the gaming. Gaming's becoming like a bother, or people are getting tired of it. Like, there's gonna be people who are like, "Oh my god, gaming's forever," but like, it seems like a lot of older gamers are kind of changing channels. Back to the retro, vintage stuff like that. And here we go. So let me introduce my my guest and co-host, Mr. Psycho. How you doing, brother?
Everything's good. How about you?
I'm doing well. And then we also have here tonight our Persian Fred, Shellhead Tony. How you doing, man?
Apparently I'm Persian. Not Persian enough for some of the badass couches you can buy, but what's up, guys?
I don't know,
Welcome
man.
back.
And also we've got Victor. What's going on? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course. Unintentionally matching with you here, but we got the NES going on, and hell, we got.
I mean,
depending on where everybody is on the screen, I know on here, John is bottom left, but on YouTube he's top right. He's got the Game Boy going on.
now see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it's a different setup. I just figured we like all saw the same screen, so that's interesting. Because like, John's like to my side. I'm in the top. If I'm looking at the top left, John's to the side. Tony's under me, and then you're in the bottom right.
That's exactly how mine is.
Huh. Everyone's
Maybe
got different
because
views.
we're
What in the
maybe because
fuck
we're
is Hot
guests.
Squid
It's different.
Summer?
I don't know, but I welcome Hot Squid Summer, and you're
Hello.
is it a seal?
I don't know, but anybody else get like instantly turned
And a
on by
seal-
that?
Seal? Why not? Not really. No. By a seal? Absolutely not. What the fuck is wrong with you? So,
How much time do you have, actually?
Psycho,
That's
go with this topic. You can explain it better than I can.
Yeah, so essentially our original topic was
There
going
you
to
go.
be just, having a conversation about the video games that have come out recently. But Victor and I were having a conversation last night about the state of video games, and like his preference has been shifting. We talked about how there's been a shift overall in kind of the way that people are consuming video games and their thoughts about video games. And the conversation went on for a while, and I thought to myself today, I kept thinking about that conversation, and I was like, there's a lot to mine from this. There's definitely a lot that we can take and discuss,
Joe?
because, for instance, I'm a huge gamer. When Jose hops in, he's a huge gamer. Victor's a gamer. You're not really a gamer anymore. Tony's not really a gamer. And so I think that this topic is perfect. I mean, I appreciate the reminder of your IQ, but it's unnecessary at this juncture. Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, I missed something.
Yeah. But I just kind of thought that this is the kind of topic that would get everybody involved where they are. right? So it's not like you have to stretch to know more than you do. You just kind of hit the ground running.
And I'm out. All right, cool. Let's go. So
Okay.
I know part of you were talking about. I guess one of the aspects was how a lot of people are kind of going back to the virtual for like the retro games,
The old school games, yeah. So
reverting back.
yeah, so I mean, this all kind of started with a conversation, like I said, with Victor last night. So I don't know if Victor wants to start the discussion the way that we did last night and kind of like hop into it and give everybody an opportunity to start talking about stuff.
I mean, yeah,
That
I
doesn't
can,
surprise me, Adam, at all.
I can start kind of go off the cuff here. Basically,
Mega Man 6. Go ahead.
well, you know, Mega Man Part 2.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Plenty we didn't talk about. You know, we'll do
No
that.
Mega Man on this cast. Fuck that game.
But no, gaming's in a weird spot right now. Much like the chaos that was alluded to, you know, trying to get away from all that. There is an aspect to that in gaming as well. Even if we ignore the layoffs, right, across the space, we have a lot of people are going to get priced out of gaming. Things are certainly not getting any cheaper. So there's a movement now that's a lot of people are talking about on YouTube where people are now trying to game with intent, so to say. So what does this mean? It could mean a couple different things. You might, instead of giving into whatever AAA trend and say spending 70, 80 bucks on Borderlands 4, maybe get yourself like a handheld PC device, whether it is a Steam Deck. Switch 2 could apply to that, but then of course you're within the Nintendo ecosystem, so you're restricted to that. Legion Go or any comparable device, or this could even be something dedicated like an Analog Pocket for your handheld games that'll play more than, say, like just the original Game Boy did back in the day.
So out of curiosity, you said something interesting. You said people are going to get priced out of games, right? Now, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, which somebody will, and Psycho, I know you'll Google it and prove me wrong or try to. But when we were kids, I'm a little older than you are, Victor, regular Nintendo games were still like 50, 60 bucks.
No,
The systems were cheaper, but the games themselves were still like 50, 60 bucks.
Super Nintendo games were. When Nintendo came out, pricey was $30.
Were they?
So there's a few answers to this because I do think the specific error you're pointing out, I believe that's accurate. However, we would start seeing, I think this started more on the Super Nintendo, or at least for what I can remember in like magazines and stuff, because there was a sense of what Nintendo is at least trying to push a lot now with like variable pricing, where certain games, depending on like how big they are or if they actually come with a guide, not just a cart, they would cost more.
Right, that's weird because for years games were just like one price. It was like kind of a universal price across the board.
Yes.
And then like if you got like the collector's edition, the price went up a little bit, or they gave you a version that had like a statue with it or some shit, or then we started doing the DLC. If you want the version with all the DLC, you paid more, type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, so apparently I was wrong about NES, but I feel like NES were still like 60 bucks.
No, just to clarify for Chris, NES games cost between $28 and $50 during their prime when the NES was the console out, right? And popular titles like Mario 2, Mario 3, Zelda, like mainly the Nintendo games or the big Contra and stuff like that were $50 at least.
Okay, so like I said, between 50 and 60. So I was on the top. Okay.
But to just to put that in perspective, that $50 during the NES era would equate to $113 per game today, right? So just
where I was going.
Yeah, just to keep it in perspective. And so this is kind of what got me really invested in the conversation when Victor and I were talking about it, because I think that it's important to do everything with intent, right? Like you shouldn't just kind of go about your day doing things and not paying attention to what you're doing, or have a reason or an opinion or whatever. But what I told Victor is, I have not done the research on this that he has, but for me, I kind of view this as kind of the next generation of the hipster, right? Back 10, 15 years ago, you had people that music was too big, right? Oh, well, there's these lawsuits against Napster and they're stopping people from getting music, and we're backing away from the corporate music machine, and we're not going to do all this, and we're going to go back to old releases, right? Like we're going to listen to vinyl instead of CDs, right? And it was the record companies wanted us to go from records to CDs, and then from CDs to digital music. And then there was this there was this push. There was this push then to return from digital back to physical, specifically vinyl, and a whole like culture rose up around this this movement. And then it turns out, after the movement had taken hold and was actually expanding quite a bit, that the fucking record companies were behind it the entire time. They were behind the push to go back to physical media and vinyl specifically, because they could make more money off of it after pushing people through. But it became a movement that was generated by the people that these people were trying to get away from to begin with. What's up, Tony?
Yeah.
So Napster, I'm significantly older than you guys. So Napster,
4 years.
That's enough for the era. So Napster, you had LimeWire, you had Napster, that all came out, and
Napster came first, and then LimeWire after that.
The only reason,
Mhm.
your shit. The only reason that came out was because the bands were complaining that we're losing money, we're not selling CDs anymore because it's meant for digital. These digital companies did not come out with record companies or the bands in mind at all. They were just simply. Go ahead.
No, I said exactly.
So they came out, and so people were pirating the data. And so when LimeWire got shut down finally, or Napster, I'm sorry, got shut down first, and then LimeWire finally got shut down, that was the argument, was that these Metallica actually and Blink-182, first two bands really to head it up, started saying, hey, this is fucked. We're not getting paid anymore. We're not selling our CDs because this is all digital. And so it stopped. And then you had Apple Music that started coming out about the time Apple phones started coming out. And so people had to pay for that. And so all the digital personas and profiles had to be paid for. Yes. And so these bands realized we're not doing CDs anymore. We're not doing records anymore until, 3 years ago when retro came back. And so now people are buying CDs, they're buying records, so on and so forth. Apparently all that shit is relevant again.
That's what John's saying is the record companies that pushed that.
It's been more than 3 years that the vinyl revolution has been going on. But again, it's kind of like the point that I was making in all this. Yes, you're correct, right? Like Napster came out, Metallica sued them, they went out of business. LimeWire rose up in its place, and that was a thing up until
FrostWire, BearShare,
like all this other stuff. And then
all the ways to get STDs on your computer.
All that stuff slowly disappeared because the rise of the iPhone created, Apple Music, or iTunes at the time it was called, and people were buying the songs and the bands were happy. The point that I'm making is to push back against what the music fans thought was the corporate greed. It was this, okay, well, we're going to return to a media that you can't do anything about, right? Like we're going to go back to physical media. And it was kind of this push, like, well, why are records? I don't know what's going on.
Keep going.
Anyhow, this push to go back to physical media, specifically vinyl, which was cheap at the time, because for a very long time, records weren't worth a damn thing, right? Like certain records, right, would have a very specific value that they held, but for the majority of records, they were worth nothing. People were giving them away. They couldn't sell them.
45s were like a nickel.
Yes, right. And so then we got this. They weren't truly hipsters, but that's the kind of person I'm talking about, right? Like, oh well, we're going to be counterculture. We're going to go this way instead. You're pushing us to do this. We don't.
It's
want
cool to be this.
Yes.
Yep.
And so what it turned out, and that's the point that I was making. What it turned out to be is that the record companies who had pushed from vinyl to tapes to CDs to digital was also behind this counterculture push of going back to vinyl. And when Victor was talking about this yesterday, I said that's my concern with this new philosophy with gaming. Oh, I'm going to go backwards. Oh, I'm going to go backwards. And where is it coming from? Right? And what is the sole purpose? And then we started talking about this idea that people want specific things from games, and when they're not getting them, they're being disenfranchised and leaving gaming as a whole.
Okay.
Right.
So we've gone all over the place with this, right? Like quickly. We're talking about games. Then started talking about fucking records and Napster and Metallica.
Yes. Because I was trying to make my point so everybody would understand.
It was all relevant, but the thing is like,
yeah, it's all relevant, I think, to the entire conversation, but not where we were currently at in the conversation. I feel like Psycho's like, hey, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna fast forward through everything else that's leading to this,
So
which is perfectly fine.
But retro gaming was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea that people are going back, right? Like the first thing I was questioning, like, was the pricing, because Victor had said people being priced out of the games. And he feels that that's one of the reasons why people are kind of looking at it differently, because they're being priced out. I'll go back to what I have had. It's cheaper, this and that. But what's the real price out was my question at first. Where's that price out? It's not the game itself, because like Psycho said, if the gaming industry had kept up with the inflation over time, games would be $113 would be the going rate. So video games have essentially beaten inflation, right? They haven't really gone up for the most part. Like, well, recently they're going up to $80, right? They're finally moving.
so that's a lot of what would be, for example, if you were your typical AAA CEO, that's exactly what people would say, and that's not incorrect, right? You compare dollars to now.
Yeah.
But the systems have gone up like crazy,
and they could go up further. Like,
I mean, they're going to.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Part of the reason I got a Switch 2 was, let's just call it for what it is. The tariffs, right? Who knows what's going to happen? Person who's putting them out doesn't even know what's going to happen with them.
Yes.
I'm going to say PS6, $799.
I'm gonna just simply leave it at that. But that's the whole thing, right? We're getting into an age where it's like there's so many different ways we can go with this. But the Switch 2, right? I got it in part because I was worried about it. If I don't get this now, it's going to be like $100 more expensive.
Yep.
That's why
And
I bought a new car. I get it.
And there was already the debate that the Switch 2 was overpriced for what it was. I don't personally agree with that. Although I also can't ignore that in Japan, I believe it's being sold at like $150 less, I think it is.
Yes.
So it's being sold less over there. And naturally, the Switch 2 data, like their sales numbers, they're doing the best over there. And like it's not even close. Right. But of course, they're getting it at what some would say the real prices. But with everything going up and everybody, a lot of companies diving into AI or praying to their AI overlords, looking at you, Microsoft, or Microslop, as we like to refer to them now.
Shots fired. Jesus.
It's just one of those things where it's like, when we get into the next generation of consoles, which is technically started with the Switch 2, but when we get the PlayStation 6, when we get the next box, are we looking at quad-digit consoles? Because we very well could be. And for that, I would take the same approach as I do with phones. I ain't paying quad digits, so fuck this shit, I'm out. Right? Like, if that's what it is, I rather go backwards with intent. I rather revisit either my backlog or, get a dedicated PC handheld type device to revisit old games, which I won't get into how to do, but let's just say a lot of people probably have Pokemon on their phone, for example.
All right.
So
I'm gonna interject.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, by the way, congrats. Collectors has 9 people. There were 10,
Yeah.
I should say,
A lot viewing.
following. So that was pretty cool. But to Kid Mac's point, at the end of the day, he's not wrong. So like consoles already
Usually
cost
isn't.
us. Let's just be real, right? So Switch 2s are $399, $299. Are they down to $299 or are they still $399?
The Switch 2 is still $499.
Holy crap!
It's still $499?
Yes, the Switch 2
Okay.
is not going. If you're
All
talking
right, so
one,
okay, so it's $499.
Switch 2.
PS5 is $499, $349, I think $449. 3 different price points based on like terabyte. One is disc, one's not disc, so on and so forth. Right? No extra games, just the console. And so, to your point, I think PS6 is going to come out. I think it's going to be a $799 base unit, right? So meaning all digital, 500 terabyte, just one control console, $799. I've got that feeling because everything can either A, be digitally downloaded, digitally streamed, or what have you. So it's going to make the consumer decide, all right, how much do I download? How much do I play? Am I going to go ahead and buy the terabyte, or is PlayStation going to bite the bullet and offer a 2 terabyte? Because I got 500 on mine. I bought the base, right? I bought the God of War base model PS5. I could have easily taken a 1,000 terabyte console. I've even considered just slaving mine with an extra terabyte console just to have the space to put stuff on.
So how much you get? Real quick, how much you get? Do you say it was going to be like $799 for the base model?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That's
I mean,
speculation.
the brand new like top of the line PS5. I don't know if it's the Pro or whatever they call it. That's $750.
So
Right. So with you mentioning that, right? Something I left out. Previous generation, because again, let's assume the Switch 2 is starting next gen, right? Current gen. Last gen consoles across the board all went up too. Their prices raised because the MSRP for the PS5 Pro was $700, which, it's a joke, but whatever, whole other conversation. But now that's gone up to $750.
So we're thinking a PS6 is going to be 1,000 starting?
I would not be surprised. I mean, I could be entirely wrong. I hope to be wrong.
So
But-
I guess my question when it comes to like this, right?
Chris, you
And
don't play. Why are you even in this?
neither do you. You watch people play. So the question I have when it comes to
I
this,
speed run Turtles. I'm just throwing it out there.
you can do that on a fucking regular NES. All right,
You're not
Calm
wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying.
down. Like, so I guess the question when it comes to all this is for a system to be $700, $800, $1,000 fucking dollars. I can see why some are like, screw it, I'm gonna go PC, right? Because if I'm paying $1,000 for a system just to play a video game, what the fuck are we even doing? Like, is part of it that, like, if you're trying to tell me that I'm paying $1,000 now and that's keeping the video games themselves at $60, I'd be like, that's a weird thing. But if that's what I have to do to keep them at 60, maybe I can understand a little better. But if the games are going up and the systems are going up, what's the fucking reason if all I can use that system for is playing video games? Like, I might as well find other ways to play the video games for a hell of a lot cheaper because they're out there.
So this is perfect because let's not pretend it's electronics as a whole, really. Like PCs are going up too. And
But at least technically with a PC, you have multi-functions.
yes.
You can
Yes.
use it for all kinds of different shit.
True.
Whereas if you just have a general system, you might have a web browser on it. Like fucking Xbox got rid of their MP3 player, and so you couldn't even fucking use it to listen to music. unless you went like through streaming through YouTube or some shit, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
AI is easy to point to, but I want to point out what Adam Carter just said in chat. What about RAM? Yeah, that's also a big problem right now. Basically, a lot of tech companies were hoarding RAM because there was a shortage on it, and that is naturally inflating prices across the board.
So, go ahead, Victor. Finish what you're saying.
No, just saying, like a PC, part of the reason for a PC is exactly what Chris said. Like you have multifunction, so you have access to games across several platforms through your preferred means of doing so. You can use it for your own everyday tasks. You can chat on here like we're doing. There's a variety of things you can do with your PC, which justifies the extra price. Now, of course, depending on how far you want to go with that, it could be a lot more money. But for something that is console level or better, to me, that's worth the extra investment.
I mean, what is like a gaming PC? What are they running now?
I mean, then we're definitely talking about quad digits if you want.
So that's whether or not you're building it. Are you buying it? Is it a manufactured? What is that? Like, I'll tell you this.
No, I get that, but like, I mean, when it comes to PC, like I'm thinking about like back in the 2000s, early 2000s, you could get like Alienware for like $1,500, right? And that was like top of the line.
Well, you can build the unit now. It's a
commercial
decent
gaming
gaming
PC.
computer for $1,500. You
But for like a
absolutely
good
can.
gaming PC, is it still like relatively in the 1,500 mark, or is it
I don't
like?
want to say good, but you can build a relevant gaming PC for $1,500 if you do it yourself. I mean, ask Joe. He says 2,000 to 4,000 for mid to top grade.
Okay.
My daughter's
What's going on?
is $1,500, almost $2,000, but it's a good unit.
So again, like I'm not a PC gamer, but I also, I've been told by a lot of people who are PC gamers, the cost isn't in building the PC, it's in buying the graphics card to run the things where you want to run them, right? But I want to respond to something else that was said a little bit earlier. Let's talk about why the consoles are the prices that they are, right? And I'm sure that this is going to ruffle some feathers, but all this ridiculous pricing nonsense, in my opinion, can be blamed directly on Sony and their shady business practices, right? So the original PS1 launched for $300. Within a year, they dropped it down to $200. 2 months after they dropped it to $200, they dropped it down to $150, right? And it's because Sony wants their products to feel like premium products, and instead of making them look and perform like premium products, they price them like premium products. And so what we're seeing now is the result of all the people that are our age who were like, oh, Crash Bandicoot says Nintendo is for kids. He's right. I'm going to get the PS1 and I'm going to pay whatever. And then every iteration, Sony has increased the price unnecessarily, right? And they have done this consistently. How high can we price it until people won't pay for it anymore?
But that's business, right? Like they're just trying to get as much as they can.
I get that. But what I'm saying is the original design of video game price structure was you don't charge an arm and a leg for the console, you charge a decent amount, and then you make your money back through the sale of games. Sony's like, no, we're going to make our money back through the sale of games, and we're going to charge a shit ton of money for the console, and that's how we're going to do it, right? And because you have people who really like Sony the way I like Nintendo, they're willing to do that all the time. And now it's created this system or this ecosystem where gaming for some people is almost untenable, which is what we're discussing now. And it's not just the cost of the games. It's not just the cost of the console. It's the cost of gaming as a whole, right? And somewhere along the way, something has to give. And I don't know what that is, but where companies were racing to create the most photorealistic graphics possible, now we have an ecosystem where you have photorealism almost, okay, but at the cost of way more money than is necessary.
So, just when you look at the pricing, just something I looked up real quick. The you guys said the top tier PS with the most of PS5 or whatever was like $700.
$750 for the Pro or whatever they call it. I don't know what the
Right.
moniker.
So I
is.
mean, to be honest, I get what you're saying, Psycho, but if you look at the way things are, it's really not outside the price of just economic growth and everything, right? Because the original NES was between 150 and 200 when it originally released in 1985.
Yep.
And if you look at that to now, that would be essentially $600 to $668 now. So that's really not too far off when you're looking at what they offer for their top of the line versus what they did for their basic. So like the pricing at that point really isn't far off for today's standards versus 1985 standards. So the pricing has kind of gone up along with everything. Now, if the next one goes to 1,000, then obviously, yeah, it's going much higher than where it should be going. But we have to see where that goes. I mean, they might start at 700 as a base, and then there'll be a little higher, but like it's not too far off. I get what you're saying about Sony, but Sony was doing that, but at the same time, they were kind of just maybe ahead of the curve, but it's where it's supposed to be now.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree with Joe. I think that the next consoles when they release are going to be absolutely $1,000. I just
very well could be, but when's it supposed to come out?
The way that they're not, right? And at that point, like I'm probably going to be out. But it will be because that will be too high a price for me to pay with everything else going up. But again, to be fair, before all this tariff shit started, right? So like Nintendo can say that they bumped up
in the bathroom.
Nintendo can say that they bumped up the price from the Switch 2 to 400 to 500, and it's about tariffs. Before the tariff shit even started, Sony had announced the PS5 Pro at $700, right? So it's not like the tariffs really bumped it up. It pushed it up $50. And I think what's interesting here is you have all these people who were along for the ride as companies made bad decisions. And now they're like, oh shit, I don't know why this is getting out of hand. I'm out. And it's kind of like, well, it's out of hand because you contributed it to being out of hand.
I guess
you contributed to it.
But I guess part of the thing that we're playing on an unknown variable, right? We don't know what the next systems will. It's assumptions. It's based on looking at the trends, but we don't have an actual price for the next systems. Yeah. We just have assumptions, right? Like I said, if you look at the numbers and over history, the numbers right now are kind of on par for what they were back in 1985. Still, it's pretty much the equivalent. So it's not out of hand by standards. Shit's just getting expensive everywhere else. It makes you pay attention more to it. Yeah. What I was going to ask before Shellhead had to go use the potty, I guess, was the original topic at hand was about people kind of reverting back, right?
Or leaving gaming.
Leaving in general, reverting back, leaving in general. Because like I play games still, but the games I'm playing, like right now, I'm playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel, right? A game that's 10 years old. Like I've got an Xbox One. I haven't gotten anything on the new side. Like that's where I'm at. But I am curious because we know why. Not why, but like where you guys have been going, like kind of why you're possibly getting out or why you've been kind of getting away from the main side and looking at some of the other options, alternative options. But I was going to ask Tony why he kind of stopped doing gaming. Oh, he's back with nuts. So
and cream.
And cream. He's going to suck the cream right out of that cone. So I am curious as to where or like Tony, what made you stop gaming from when you were like what was your breaking point?
All right, so I was playing Kingdom Hearts I was playing Final Fantasy, that kind of thing. And when Final Fantasy went to an MMORPG, it didn't make sense to me. Why would you take a game that was built on it's Final Fantasy? It was built on personal RPG style, right? Like you had I don't know what you want to call it, but your emotions were built into those games. Like I can tell you every Final Fantasy I ever played, you somehow at some point became emotionally attached to that game. Listen, I wanted some ice cream, man. I had some in the freezer. Y'all can suck my ass. I can't help they got nuts on them. Nuts in my mouth. That's all I got for you. And so that was Final Fantasy. And so when they stopped doing Final Fantasy like that, I think it was 14. And Kid Mac, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but
You are, but go on.
I think it's. Did he say I was wrong?
Yeah.
He said you are.
Thank you.
That's
Okay,
that's the second iteration. So there's two. The first one was it's
11.
okay. No
Wasn't
one
it?
cares. Yes, no one
Yeah.
cares about 11. I'm sure there's some people. There's technically still servers out there, but like 11 was the first one, and 14 was kind of shit also at first until whoever it was that came in and revived it with A Realm Reborn, and now it's their biggest cash cow as they continue to fumble releases to this day in a lot of different aspects, which is a whole other conversation. And this has already pivoted in so many different ways.
So
continue.
I
It
mean,
makes
we
sense
all
because
agree
I
that,
played.
Final
ahead.
Fantasy needs to be the final fantasy.
Funny you say that because that's literally how it started.
So I played
It
10.
was called that because they expected to fail, and when they didn't, now it's become what it is now. Again,
I played
whole
10
other.
and 10-2, and then I stopped playing, and that's probably because of just that reason. Because the next game it came out, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to play this anymore. But that's kind of when I gave up. I would play things here and there, Grand Theft Auto, whatever was stupid. But I never really invested again in another game until recently, in the last probably 5 years. I played the Call of Duties and all that kind of shit. And then Turtles. Turtles have always been my passion. From PlayStation, from Nintendo to whatever other console they've ever been on. Emulators. I love Turtles games because 99% of Turtle games are beat 'em up, smash 'em ups, right? They're side scrollers, they're beat 'em ups. That's Turtles. And so that's always been my thing. I love those games and I love Turtles. And so other than the game in PS4, and I think it was 90 or 99, maybe 2000. It was the 2012 style Turtles, and it was a free roam game. And you ran throughout the city, and you had to you caught Bebop, Rocksteady, Slash, all those guys.
Yeah.
Probably one of the last major games I ever bought or paid for on a major platform. Other than today, God of War, but other than today when I bought Resident Evil for Gianna.
So, I mean, I would say there's a couple things about that, right? And it gets more in depth into the conversation Victor and I were having yesterday, which inspired this whole topic. For me, I've never been into iterative gaming, right? So for a little while, I was buying Madden every year, and I was playing it, and then I at one point I just realized, why am I getting this every year? And I stopped.
Well, real quick. I know what you're talking about. For the audience who might not understand, explain what iterative gaming is. Like, we're 7 years old, please.
Yeah, so iterative gaming is when games are released annually. So every year you get a new Call of Duty.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
It's essentially the same game with a new coat of paint on it, new skins, right? But it's essentially the same thing.
Perfect. I just want to make sure Adam understood. Thank you.
They're just releasing it so that they can make as much money with the engine as they possibly can. And so the other thing for me is, and again, I'm going to point the finger at Sony, is you take a game like Final Fantasy, which I have very little regard for. I've never been a fan of Final Fantasy games. I never thought that they were as life-changing as a lot of people do.
How do you kick
But-
them?
What?
No.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, but you could respect the original Final Fantasy games, the early Final Fantasy games, but then Sony did what Sony always does. And again, the fans didn't complain. They just went along for the ride until it got shitty. And then they're like, oh, well, I can't believe this is happening, except they were the ones that led to it happening. So
Back
when-
to shitting on Sony. Okay.
yeah, no, because it's true. Victor and I have had this conversation before. When you, as a game company, start demanding that you put out a game every year, to the point where the music director of your franchise leaves, the art director of your franchise leaves, the creator of the franchise leaves because of the ridiculous stress and pressure that you're putting on them to put out a game every year. And listen, as much as I don't like Final Fantasy, I can say I do see an artistic expression in those early games.
As you should.
Why would you destroy those games' mystique by releasing them every year to the point where everybody involved with the creation decides to go? And you see it over and over and over again. And it's this model that was originally perpetrated with Sony. Like, look what they did to Jack and Daxter. Look what they did to Ratchet and Clank. Look what they did to Crash Bandicoot. Look what they did to Final Fantasy. I mean, the list goes on and on. God
Crash
of War.
Bandicoot is amazing.
And probably any of those would have been a way better example than the ridiculousness that I'm just going to take the high road and entirely ignore. But
So
to-
wait. I
to-
don't
to
want you to
point-
take,
to
I don't
point
want you to take
towards-
the high road.
to point towards the one thing that I do agree with you on. Yes, basically everyone that made Final Fantasy what everybody loved it as. That's why to go back to what I responded to in chat alongside this. That's why I think 9 is the last great game. Provided Square was still Square Soft with 10. A lot of people like 10. I don't think it's one of the better games.
So what-
personally?
Let me
But
hold on, Victor. What is it about 10 you don't like? I'm curious. It had a great story.
The story's fine. Tidus annoyed the shit out of me, and evidently it's pronounced that way, Tidus, not Titus,
Should be Titus,
which I
but
thought for
all right.
years. But blame Dissidia for that and corrected me. Zidane is Zidane. Apparently I was wrong about all sorts of shit. But anyway,
Nobody's down about
uh,
the goth chick. I mean, she was hot.
Not everybody
I-
plays games just because there's somebody attractive in them, Tony.
Psycho, you're not even involved in this conversation. So go ahead, Victor. Sorry.
Anyway, what I'm saying is like the whole. I don't know. I don't find there are good qualities about 10, but I found a lot of the characters just flat out annoying that weren't like Ornn and Lulu. That's my simplistic answer.
Simplistic.
But for 9, that's where it was like this was the swan song, and the main guy said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
9?
Yes. Nobuo Uematsu, the music creator, he became less and less involved over time, but even he has been on record saying that you could feel something changed there since then. And eventually, obviously, Square merged with Enix, and you have the slow but steady sinking ship since then. In my personal opinion, like do we have some good games? Absolutely, but there was a decrease in quality, and you only have so many like bangers since what one would consider the classic era, which I suppose depends on who you ask. But let's be fair and say through 10, right? Since then, things took a dive quality wise.
So 9 for me was a hard transition because we had 7, which was Cloud. We had 8, which was what the hell was his name? He had like the weird jacket and like something out of fucking Goo Goo Dolls. What the hell was his name?
From 8,
Yeah, Squall.
Main character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
small.
you had 9, which was like they went back to the smaller animations. So like whatever the hell his
Yes.
name was, the little guy.
Yes.
The one guy looked like Orko, but he wasn't Orko from fucking Motu.
Masters.
So this is the interesting thing, because it, again, sidetracked but relevant, I guess
Relevant.
to current topic. 7 is where everything blew up. Like people who did not play games of that type, that got brought here. Of course, this confused Americans across the board. Because like, how the
Tifa.
fuck did we go from?
Let's be real, Tifa.
There is that. I wasn't gonna go there, but sure. Yeah, there is that.
I don't care what anybody says. That's what brought her here. Everybody cosplays Tifa. Good.
You know, we don't know how to count. We went from 3 to 7, but you know, moving past that, like that's where
7, all right.
that's where everything blew the fuck up. That's where everything blew the fuck up, and a game like that just simply would not have been possible on a cartridge. It's just facts, right? Past that, you had 8, which was similar in a lot of ways, but obviously, you know, depending on who you ask, like people didn't like it. And then 9 did change. And originally I was like, the fuck is this shit? Off the back of like Cloud and Squall, who, you know, just to explain it in a basic kind of joking way, you have these 2 edgelords that are awesome as characters, and then you go to Zidane, like, who the hell is this guy? Who's this monkey kid? I don't want to play as this guy. He can't even break damage limit, right? Like, what is this crap? But I've come back now to realize that's really just a return to form. It displayed some of the better graphics capabilities at the time, and it was them like returning to their roots to try to make a more party-based system. They went to the 4 characters, and they weren't as like serious. It was more like back to say like 6 or before, like kind of in that realm of
So
of characters.
4 was 4 SNES?
Yes. So this is where it gets confusing.
Yeah.
On the SNES, you had
It's
2,
all confusing.
which is actually 4, right? Then you had 3 on the Super Nintendo, which was actually 6.
Sure.
All I know
Okay.
is that my wife's favorite Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah,
It's great.
the-
It's,
Very
like I
nice.
my
said,
favorite Final Fantasy game is, Kingdom Hearts. So
My favorite Final Fantasy game was the one that actually ends the franchise.
You never played Kingdom Hearts in your life.
absolutely did. I have the first one, 100%.
There's nothing ginger about Kingdom Hearts.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Of course, I played Kingdom Hearts.
It was called Ginger Hearts.
so
Sorry,
if we
Zach,
haven't,
go, please. I mean, keep going.
if we have any interest in going back to the original topic,
We don't, but keep going.
because
Let's go.
we can sum this up of people either like or can appreciate Final Fantasy, and John fucking hates it. Like that's the summary of that.
So,
And if John hates it, it must be bad. That's the
First of
rules. We know these
first
rules.
First of all, that is wildly inaccurate because I did say that.
Ow.
You don't hate it?
Listen, because I said that while I don't like it, I can respect the effort and the artistry that went into the games.
But you still said you
I
hate
don't
it.
like them,
Final
but
Fantasy is
to
fantastic.
characterize it as me saying like I hate all of them and they all suck, like that's not.
You
not
did
a
say
thing.
that.
No, I didn't.
Joe,
I
just
said
log
I
off
wanted
now.
to be
Log
the
off.
Final one, right?
This is why
Um,
VODs exist. Moving on.
Ugh.
So
I mostly wanted Victor to go because he said I'm going to take the high road instead of responding to that. But I think that there's a lot there to respond to because it goes back to the problem with gaming again, the way I see it.
PlayStation.
It's
Oh.
yeah, because gaming has become iterative, and when you go back to where the origins of iterative gaming come from, you have to have that conversation. No other company has released iterative properties the way that Sony has done that, right? And like I know Victor's like, oh, you're trolling or you just hate Sony, but what I said is accurate, right? Like it happened with Jack and Daxter until people didn't care about the game. And that happened after Crash Bandicoot. It happened after Spyro. It happened after,
Aren't
like,
there only
all
4
the-
Crash Bandicoot games?
I'm
no,
sorry?
there's way more.
Oh, there's more. I thought there was only 4 of them.
So with Crash specifically, right? So this is where, and I almost feel like I just have to dive into the bits that like actually apply here to stay on topic, which we failed from the start. So whatever. But with Crash Bandicoot, right? You had Naughty Dog that started that. You know, now they make nothing but The Last of Us. That's going to be my jab at Sony. But you know, remaster it for the 20th time, even though nobody asked for it. But with Crash Bandicoot, you had the Naughty Dog era, which had the first 3 games.
Okay.
You also had a spin-off game, which, depending on who you ask, is better than Mario Kart. I don't.
Okay, yeah, I don't count those as Crash Bandicoot games. Okay.
Okay, but the main series is 3 games, so that's the Naughty Dog era. That's the classic era. So you had,
And then
Crash.
one recently came out within like the past 4 or 5 years. There was a new Crash Bandicoot game.
There was a new mainline game made by an entirely different company, because at that point, like, different companies made Crash. Like Crash was basically forgotten about at that point.
That fucking game. Oof.
And to John's point, there are a lot of Sony IPs that you hear about them maybe a generation or two, and then they're just kind of forgotten about, right?
Well,
However, the counter to that same point, to point out another IP that has been iterative, but also is one of the strongest across the board, like quality wise. You can pick out like a game or two that sucks, but for the most part, Ratchet and Clank, which has existed since the PlayStation 2, has been consistent with its releases. You really only have like 1 or 2 games where you could be like, oh, this thing actually was ass. But they are relatively consistent and reviewed well. Whether you like them or not is a whole other conversation. But
I've never
pretty
even paid
consistent.
attention to Ratchet and Clank. I couldn't tell you how many games. I've never even played one of them.
They were good.
Yeah, I just never did. I never got into it.
They were good. They were good platforming games.
So
when I say iterative, right? Like, I guess I'm not being clear, because yes, all games come out year after, like they have sequels, and that's
Psycho,
fine.
I'm assuming that just because you like to go long-winded on explanations. I just want to make sure that when you're saying it, you mean like every year Madden comes out, every year WWE comes out, every year
So like
MLB, basketball, all the sports games really come out every fucking year.
Yeah, so what I meant was we had a Ratchet and Clank game in 03, a Ratchet and Clank game in 04, a Ratchet and Clank game in 05, another Ratchet and Clank game in 05, right? And then we had two Ratchet and Clank games in 2007, a Ratchet and Clank game in 2008, a Ratchet and Clank game in 2009. Okay. And the point that I'm making is that Sony is responsible for oversaturating the market with their characters until people don't give a shit about them anymore. And so I know it sounds like I'm hating on Sony, but what I'm saying is when you release a game every year, like you do Madden or Call of Duty, and it becomes iterative, that is part of the problem. That is part of the problem right there. And it's not me hating or me trolling. It's me being honest.
Well, because you say those things, but then I think about how many goddamn Mario type games there are.
Absolutely.
But I guess the argument is that it's been over 20 years maybe versus a 6-year span.
Mario's been out for 40 years.
So this is a perfect pivot.
Thanks for getting real literal on my example. Thanks.
This is a perfect pivot because, like, and again, I'm not focused on like what X company.
Before John said Ratchet and Clank so many fucking times, now the words sound weird in my head. Like how many times he said it, they don't sound like real words anymore. But continue. I don't know what you're saying, Tony. You're muted.
Agreed on Rift Apart. Just to.
I apologize. I like Ratchet and Clank. There you go.
What the fuck were we talking about? Oh, so with Mario, right? The main games, they are spread out enough to where they make the impact that they're supposed to. Yes.
But then they started going crazy with it, right? You had Mario Doctor or Dr. Mario. Like they started getting Mario and just fucking everything.
Wait, but it's like anything, right? Like you could say that about Mega Man, right? There's main series
I would
games.
Say that about Mega Man.
And then you have a ton of freaking spin-offs and sub-series and this and that. Like that's It kind of happens with a lot of different properties.
Well, you know, of course it does. I was just pointing out John and his whole Ratchet and Clank hate. Well, not hate, but
sure,
not
but-
hate, but his examples of game after game after game after game. We look at how many different types of Mario games there are. Like there's a crap load of Mario games. To the point where like, you know what? Let's give Mario a break. Hey, Luigi, here, you need some games too. Like,
let's focus on that same point without mentioning sports games because that's too easy to pick on. With Assassin's Creed, okay, and with Assassin's Creed, shit comes out every year.
does
You
it?
change the characters around
I guess Tony left.
Yep.
ever so slightly or whatever, but like it's the same game. It's the same game. You jump in hay, you sit there and be stealthy with everybody and try to get kills. You know, oh, you might jump in the Animus from time to time. But at a certain point, all you really had to do is not be stealthy at all, just stand in a crowd and hit the counter button. Like it's before Breath of the Wild existed, this was a very easy thing to pick on, where games will go open world and for the most part you didn't necessarily care about what the heck you were doing.
So,
But the main thing I'm saying, like just personally from my perspective, like I quit super early in the series. I got to Black Flag and I was like, you know, this was fun, but I'm kind of over it. Right. And I was like, the only way I'm going to return to this game is if they do one in Egypt, which they did so many years later. But at that point, I was just beyond caring. Like I didn't go back to it. I know there's been good ones since, but it was just that fatigue hit real quick because I had played each of them. And even just within 2, there was a trilogy for that. So you had 1, 3 within 2, 3, and then Black Flag. And I did everything with Black Flag, including the boss ships. Those were a pain in the ass, but whatever. Did everything. But after that, I was like, you know, I'm good on this.
okay.
If I don't see the franchise again, I don't care.
So some of these, obviously, you expect games to, when it's a success, they're going to keep making new versions of it, right? That's just, as we know, it comes the same thing with movies. Unlike the 80s and the 90s, where people were kind of celebrated for being original and thinking out of the box and bringing something new, people are now, it's just like, hey, that's working. Let's just make another one. Let's make another one. Let's make another one. People are buying it. And I think that's where Psycho was saying, not me, because fuck those games, but where we created that, right? We allowed it, we supported it, and they're just going to keep doing it.
Yep.
I understand why they'd make a lot of games, right? Like, my most recent Tim wants to pick on me was Borderlands, but when you get games that are very repetitive every year, the issue I have with a lot of them, especially now, right? If you want to tell me every year, back when even PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, even not really 3, but those older systems, if they want to release a wrestling game every year, because they need to update the roster, they need to have some new technology, some better graphics, you know, we're growing, we're getting better. We have to update this so people have the immersive gameplay for what's current in the product we provide in the real world, right? Same thing with Madden. You want to make sure you have the newest players who've joined the league. So every year you want to put out a new one. Why the fuck do they do that now when the graphics are essentially as good as they're really going to get until you get a new system, right?
Yeah.
Why are you buying a new game every year when they could just give you the fucking DLC with all the new updates?
Because
So-
they want to milk you for as much money as they can. They're not.
Right, John, I understand that. You didn't let me finish. It's Sony's fault. I know. So, so like that was my biggest thing, right? And this is getting back to the main question I asked a little bit ago about like.
I
why
mean, we can
Tony-
blame this one on Nintendo, right? The whole wrestling era during then, big craze.
I mean,
I'm
No.
fucking around. Go ahead.
so because like the question I asked before was Tony, like why he got out type of thing. And that's where I was kind of coming around to this reasoning as to why I kind of got out, right? So if they can do it, we know they can give us the updates and we can just get the DLC, get all the new roster, the new this, new that, new, the new football teams, their new stats, whatever. We can get that. But I got out was the main reason because every year I was buying a wrestling game. But every year I got the new characters, but the wrestling games were getting worse. It's not like the games themselves were getting better to where there was a reason for me to get it, like not just a new roster, but there was new dynamics. But they were putting dynamics in that made the games worse. They were getting really fucking annoying. Then I tried to continue with, and this isn't a good example of a game that comes out consistently because they take like 17 years between them, is Grand Theft Auto, right? I was playing that. And then when they did Grand Theft Auto 4, whichever fucking one you had to buy car insurance for to play.
That was number 5. Yeah.
That fucking game, at that point, that was my final straw with new games. Because I was like, this is too real. It took out all the enjoyment that I couldn't run around and just kill Nathan. Or else I would like potentially get kicked off the server.
Oh my god.
I was like, this took all the fun that I was having with this game.
Yeah.
And with that, and then with the wrestling games doing what they were doing, that's why I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done gaming. Now I understand GTA
better like a year in. Yeah.
See, the thing is this: they could get better a year in, but like if you're in a marriage and your wife is beating you every day, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm divorcing her. I'm out. Oh, a year later she stopped beating people. Okay, great. But you know what? She beat me for a year. I'm done. I'm out. Like,
blink if you need help.
So
I don't.
This is great because
I saw blink. I'm calling. I'm making the call.
So unintentionally, Chris, I'm going to give you credit because you keep finding ways to make us actually be able to pivot back to the original topic at hand here.
I'm somewhat of a host once in a while.
Yeah, credit where it's due. So like my whole thing with what you mentioned there with sports games, it applies to so many other things within gaming because there is a shitty term out there that exists, pun absolutely intended, called end-shitification. And it's happening to a lot more than just gaming. And for those who don't know what that is, kind of like we did with the whole iterative thing, it is you get used to a certain thing which is deemed as great, and then slowly over time it just becomes shitty. They start removing features from it. It becomes a lesser experience, but it's one where they'll still probably ask for the same price, if not more, for a diminished experience.
Yes.
This is happening. This is felt. And again, there's so many different ways you could look at it. You can say the price, you can say the layoffs, you can point to a million different things in gaming. It's exhausting. So when people feel like, it makes people almost feel disconnected from something that they really had a passion for, right? Or maybe that part is just me talking, but like that's the overall feeling, and why, like, part of why this conversation came up. I don't even remember where we left off because John was like, Sony sucks. And so I couldn't like pick up where our conversation actually left off. I don't even remember at this point. We might as well call this sidetracked this episode.
Well, that's most episodes. There's a lot of sidetracking. So I guess from what you were saying, Victor, and where each game gets worse and worse, right? But that also, you can also allude that to movies, right? The first movie is usually the best. And it's like very rarely is the sequel better. Then the third one is usually worse. And then the fourth one is usually in space for some reason. And then like it just gets worse and worse and worse as the line goes.
Sometimes it takes 10 whole movies to go to space.
This fifth one came out 15 years after the first one. It should be a hell of a lot better, but they get worse. Looking at you, Friday the 13th. Like they just keep getting bad. And And part of that, I feel, and I can only use it as a current example, would be in the movie world, would be like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? The first one I loved. I think it's fucking amazing because I didn't know anything. It was a new experience for me, right? Like playing a game for the first time, a new friend that you've never played. It's a new experience, and if it's a good game, you fall in love with it, right? Because it's a great game, a new experience. Then the second one comes out. It's not as good, but at the same time, it's not a new experience for you. It's nothing new for you because you've already done the first one.
Mhm.
So it's like as they go, you're not impressed with them anymore. But then when you add in the quality of the game itself is also going down, it hits even harder that
Yep.
this just isn't it for me because a bad game that you've never played before, you might enjoy it because it's just something new. You don't know what to expect. But when you're expecting something great and it's not great anymore, it's more noticeable.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Nintendo's Call of Duty is Pokemon. And that's
All right, real quick. If you told me I could play Call of Duty and shoot Pokemon, I'd be in. Just saying.
There's a game that's like
play
that.
Pal World.
Remember the name? There you go. Pal
Who?
World.
Play Pal World.
Am I shooting Pikachu?
I mean, it's not called Pikachu, obviously,
I'm
but
out.
yes, essentially.
No, I'm out. If it's not, I want him to be like Pika and boom, hit him in the head. That's what I want. I'm in.
I mean, they could, but then Nintendo's lawyers would be there the next day. So, like,
so you were
I don't
saying
know
is I
if
have
you
to get
want.
on PC and somebody has to mod it, and then I'm in.
yes,
Okay, got it.
Pal World. That's your answer. Anyway, Pokemon is, and like this could go on for a while, so I'm going to try to be as ridiculous as possible to like kind of move this along. But Pokemon is, Nintendo's Call of Duty. They do separate the mainline games, but it's a cash cow because they sit there and they have to put one out every year. So it's kind of like the Mario example, right? Where you have your mainline games, they're separated somewhat, and then you have all the spin-off games to fill the gaps. Except sometimes you get several of these in a year, and with Pokemon in particular, there's a lot of mobile titles as well, which the majority of people outside of Go that actually got people that weren't active to be active for once and actually associate outside, people don't care about these mobile games. So, but the main thing is that with the point you were making, I played every mainline Pokemon game. I thoroughly enjoyed Pokemon Gens 1 through 5, I think are like top tier.
Okay.
Right. From that point forward, I feel was kind of like we were mentioning with Final Fantasy earlier. That's where I feel their last great game was. I'm not going to include Black and White 2 in that. It's a sequel. It's fine. I didn't think it needed to exist, but it's there. It's technically a mainline game. But starting from Gen 6, where we moved to console, and I believe I had some fun with Gen 6. I forget, like, there's so many of them. I don't remember which is which at this point. But that's when we finally moved to console. And my first thought before I even played the game was, why does it still look like I'm playing the handheld game? It doesn't
have that nostalgic feel, man.
It doesn't actually look that much better.
So are you talking Sword and Shield?
Wasn't that Gen 7?
I don't know because I'm confused. I thought we.
Oh, actually, no. See, I do have it confused because there's so many of them. So I'd have to look this up.
All right, hold on, real quick. I just want some people are in the chat. I don't want to ignore people real quick. Adam says something about Iron Man and is an exception along with Alien. Adam, that's for another episode. You can come in when we discuss sequels on another episode of Collector's Hideout. Because you're not wrong, but you're wrong.
Now, if I said that, Victor would be up in arms. Let's just.
Arc Raiders. I have no idea what the hell that is, but I feel like, is this the game? I've seen videos online once in a while.
It's like Starship Troopers, but without the name.
All right, not what I was thinking. There's a video that pops up
I
online
said that
once in
about
a while
Helldivers.
of a
Oh,
kid.
no, you're right. That is Helldivers. Yeah.
Right. So there's a game that a video that pops up online. It's of it looks like a first person type game, and the person is being chased by a T-Rex. He jumps into the water to get away from the T-Rex, and then there's a giant shark that's then chasing him, and he's swimming away from the shark, and then the T-Rex falls in the water, starts swimming after him as well, and the guy's yelling bloody murder the entire time until he eventually, I think, dies. Is this Arc Raiders?
I don't know enough about Arc Raiders, to be honest. I know a lot of people
Okay.
like it. If you ignore the blatant use of AI in it,
Joe says
Great
it's
game.
not Arc Raiders. So
great game. You like multiplayer stuff? A lot of people have fun with it.
all right, so that's not Arc Raiders according to Joe. According to Joe, they've already modded that other game to be straight up Pokemon, so I will have to look into that. Adam asks, am I suggesting Guardians decline as it progressed? No, Adam, that's not what I'm saying. For Guardians specifically. If we're going to get into this real quick, I'm saying that the first one was amazing. The second one was good. Don't get me wrong. But it didn't have the amazing feel that the first one had because I had never experienced Guardians. So the first one holds a higher level tier than what they did with the second, third, and the Christmas special. They were good, but it's just not, it doesn't reach the level of the first one because the first one was brand new. I knew what to expect with the rest. So it didn't have that same impact. So Psycho, no, that's not exactly what I'm saying. Bastard. Joe says it's fun. And Adam's trying to get me to pay attention to him. All right, cool. So back to what you guys were saying.
So, Chris, real quick, you know how to screen share, right? Like you've done it before and put it up.
Screen share? Yeah, you hit the button that says share.
Okay, so I can do that too.
Just don't fucking pull up a video that gets me flagged.
Yeah,
like
no, I'm not.
the other night, please.
I'm not doing any of that, but I want to do a visual for the whole enshittification of things, but also that ties along to why PC gaming specifically is getting more expensive.
PC gaming?
Yes.
Okay.
So hold on.
Because you got to have those graphics cards.
Let me see if I can. This is exact. This
he said
is relevant.
PC gaming.
PC gaming. Yes.
I could swear you said Keysy. I'm like, yo, this is something
Nope.
else I don't know about.
This is relevant, right?
There we go.
The latest technology for graphics cards is AI focused. NVIDIA essentially is gaslighting everybody and saying that it's not generative AI, but that's exactly what the fuck it is. So with their latest tech that embraces AI and is, of course, going to jump your graphics cards probably up another $100 to $200, however much they want to fucking charge for it. Because NVIDIA loves their AI overlords. On the right, you have what the game
Later, Hot Squids.
looks like.
Weird.
Originally. On the right, you have, as this article so eloquently put it, NVIDIA's DLSS 5's AI filter turns all your favorite Resident Evil Requiem characters into yassified Instagram models.
Okay.
In other words, it looks fake as fuck. This is the tech on the right.
I guess, but here's the thing though, right? They both look fake as fuck because they're both computer generated images, right? The one on the other side that's not turned on, it doesn't look any more realistic. Like it still looks like a CGI image, right? I understand the other one's got the AI filter and all that to help it bring out more, but I don't give a fuck if it's like it doesn't matter. My thing is I don't need my games to be that fucking realistic at all in general. Like you're paying more to be able to count a wrinkle on a face. Who gives a shit? Just give me a good fucking game that plays well. No?
That's fair. But on that same token, right? Like that makes a case for why people don't feel as attached, right? There comes a certain point, and it depends on who you ask. At this point in gaming, at this point in generation cycles, this is the best we can do. The improvements from this point are very minimal at best.
Right.
So, to that point, this is why you have some people either maybe dropping out entirely, maybe deciding to revisit their backlog, or go back and, like I was saying before, like with the whole handheld PCs, or play an older game that's held up by a fan server, a variety of different options. But this is one of the better examples in current day of games being provided, the average person doesn't necessarily give a crap about this, but like it's a big deal. And it's also directly affecting prices, at least in the PC realm, right? And it's going to affect a lot of other things too, referring back to the RAM crisis again. And a GPU is a pretty damn important part of building a PC. Part of how you make it that much better than a console, right? It's going to cost that much more to
Right.
And here's your results. Deal with it. If you don't want to deal with it, you could just not. Save yourself some money, and there might even be something current. Like, try an indie title. Spend between $20 to $40 for a possibly more complete game where you don't.
That's what Diego was saying up there about Arc Raiders, right? Since you were talking price point, it's a $40 game. Personally, I guess my hot take is I don't see anything wrong with the DLSS 5. So I mean, a lot of people are saying it makes it look faker, but I'm kind of with Chris. I'm with Joe. Video games are video games. The left-hand image didn't look real. The right-hand image didn't look real.
Okay. And Joe's saying that the DLSS it lets the game look the way that it was meant to be made, apparently. But this is getting beyond me when it comes to the technological advancements of the video games. It's just but Tony got off, and one of the things that he and I were discussing, I called him about what the actual topic was going to be for this evening, and where John originally was saying about, people like kind of reverting back, kind of taking the step back, right? Victor, I believe you said also you're kind of looking at some of the older games because whether it be on PC or whatever, or you say like third party stuff, not the A stuff or something along that line.
Mm-hmm. Something along those lines. Yeah, it's pretty. So I guess to maybe let me give an example here. For Switch 2, right? I think by far, like, to me, it's not even close. Value wise, the best game on the Switch 2 right now is Donkey Kong Bonanza. You get legitimate value out of the game, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're doing the core game or just having fun smashing a bunch of shit. And some people want to reduce it to just that, and that's fine. But do you see and understand like how much there is to smash at each level? Like, you could, if that's all you did, there's your value, right?
So
it's just fun. The voxel technology is great. I wish they would do more stuff like this.
That Tony and I were discussing earlier today ourselves, because he was mentioning how he was playing, not RoboCop, he's playing another game, but he's saying how he loves playing the turtle games and all that. And I was wondering if there's revert back to a lot, not everybody has their own reasons, but I wonder if some people who are kind of going back, and it's one thing that I've enjoyed also, is the vintage games, to me, seem to take more skill, but less thought in the game. Right? So you look at some of these games now, they're so deep into gameplay and what you have to do to get through this and that, versus you go into Turtles, it's a side scroller, 2 buttons, directional pad, but you need a skill, a timing, a way to do it, but it takes a lot less thought because it literally becomes just button mashing, right? But there's a skill there Because if you give, they show videos of this all the time. You give vintage games to children who are like great at Fortnite, and they absolutely get destroyed in a side scroller beat 'em up,
Oh yeah.
right? But I'm wondering if a lot of this people going back is just that, like some of these games are just getting too advanced for their own good. That people are like, hey, I need to have fun, but I need it to be simplified. Like I need dumb skill fun. And I don't need to be fucking needing to take a SAT exam to fucking beat a fucking game. Hey, what's going on, Adam?
Hey, boys. How's everyone today?
Good, Adam. This is Victor, Kid Mac.
Victor, Kid Mac and 8.
Yeah.
Handsome man, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate
that's very nice of you, Adam.
Nice hairline. So, very jealous.
it. I'll take that approaching decade 4 of my life.
Well, I
Oh,
did my
yeah.
best with my background. I'm in a transition. I was moving. I have a lifetime of stuff in storage. Lots of collectibles, lots of trinkets and toys and all these sorts of things that I have, but this is the best I got.
But no, you're good, brother. I know you've been watching for about a month now. You've been kind of in the comments and viewing us.
I love
Obviously,
this.
I've known you since apparently middle school. I forget.
Apparently.
I could have sworn it was. I think
Me too.
I could have sworn it was high school, but John's like, no, he was there at New River. So middle school, I've known you.
New River, I only got there in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Psycho obviously has known you since elementary school,
Yes.
right? Victor's just now.
Yeah, we grew
up.
Same neighborhood.
But I do
We
appreciate
were
you
little
watching-
rascals.
I do appreciate you watching the show. Just this one here, I know you've been watching. It's everything, essentially pop culture and like collectibles across the board. We're not geared to just the toy thing, but today, as you've been watching, we're doing video games. So I know you've got some opinions based on what's been said already. You want to do a little Cliff Notes recap of anything that you wanted to say that may have been missed?
Well, we'll start with what was the first game everyone played? I'll start.
Holy crap.
The first video game I ever played. Well, I did say me first, so it was Pong. It was Pong because my parents, we had Intellivision.
Wow.
That was our first console, I think, Intellivision. And so we played Pong, Burger Time.
I can only
And
say,
that-
thinking now, fuck you for making me think, but you're making me
Oh,
think.
Jesus.
And I mean, I would have to say the first game, my first gaming experience would have been something on Nintendo, right? Just because of the age lineup. But I can remember though sitting on my dad's lap while he played on the Commodore 64. He played games on there.
Hmm.
But
What kind of
first
chip
one-
does that thing have? A Dorito?
Pretty much. But the first game I would have played would have
Remember?
been most likely Mario on one of the early N64 or Nintendo NES.
Yeah. That's the one I think also same thing. Like the first game I got invested in, right? Was that, and
So
my brothers stole the NES out of my room. Made me very upset as a young lad.
So let's fast forward back to what our topic was tonight.
I was going to let
Yes.
you both answer real quick before we get back to the topic.
So-
just to be fair.
The first game that I ever played was probably an Intellivision game as well, because that was the first console I had. I don't know whether it was Donkey Kong on Intellivision, Burger Time, or this tank game that used to be on Intellivision that my dad loved.
Oh, Tank Man.
No, it wasn't Tank Man. It was something else. But it was two tanks that would drive around. You had to try to destroy one another.
I don't know.
But
It
it was
sounds like
probably
Tank
one
Man.
of those 3 games. No, because he
Alright.
wasn't flying on rooftops.
Oh, fair. What about you, Victor?
Pac-Man.
Oh,
Victor was eating them balls.
First game I played. I can't deny it. That's why you're doing it.
That's
no,
exactly what
that's
you
a
do.
great.
So, yeah. So, John, you want to bring it back around?
Well, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
want to get back to the topic because I think we're actually hitting on some interesting things. I mean, I know Victor was talking about Pokemon being Nintendo's cash cow and how when these games are coming out and they don't look like they're much better than the previous version, but they're still charging you full price, that's kind of an issue and it's pushing people away. And this kind of goes into the last part of the conversation I had with Victor last night, which is what are you looking for in a game, right? And I think as a whole, gamers' expectations have been inflated to the point of almost absurdity. Because when I go into a game, I'm not looking for it to be photorealistic. I'm looking for it to be fun. I'm looking for the game to kind of take me out of whatever nonsense is going on in my life currently
Escape.
and give me an opportunity to kind of just be somewhere else. Like Adam said, escape and just enjoy it. And if I pay for the game and the game is fun and I enjoy it, then it's done its job. I'm not necessarily looking for a game to be life-changing, right? It just, I need a game to provide.
You know how bored I am with games lately? I went and looked at puzzles.
Yeah, but to be fair, you told me
Puzzles. That's what I look for entertainment because of.
I was saying, to be fair, you told me the only game
What's that? I'm sorry.
play is that that Warship game on your phone.
Oh, well, yes. As of lately, yes. All right. So I work probably anywhere between. Well, lately, I've been getting a little lucky, but it's usually between 10 to 12 hours a day. Sometimes it goes a lot longer than that. So I have a little bit of downtime throughout the day where I have moments where I can like screw around or whatever, but I don't really play games with that screw around time. That screw around time for me is trying to like keep up with what's going on around me. I want to try to, know what's relevant in the world so I can talk to my customers or whatever. Anyone who brings up a current topic, I want to have an opinion on it, I guess. I don't want to ever be.
No, okay. So,
Yeah.
right, I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But Psycho, what you're saying is where I'm at with games, right? So anybody who has me as a friend, whatever, on Xbox, sees that if I hop on Xbox, I'm playing one of two games, right? It's Borderlands. Right now, I'm doing the pre-sequel, which Tim was being all judgy about me still playing that. I don't know if he's in the chat still, but kiss my ass, Tim.
God
Mm-hmm.
damn it.
But I played that game because I enjoyed the first game, right? We had such a great time with the first game. The second game I enjoyed. I was trying to play with you, but stuff happened at your house. You couldn't play as much anymore for a while.
Yeah.
But because with those games, like you said, what am I expecting, right? And with those games, all I'm expecting is to run around with guns, jump over things, and shoot the fuck out of everything. And just
Sounds like fun.
demolish stuff and die a lot because I die a lot, right? I sit there and my wife laughs at me. Oh, you're dying. And then when I die, she like looks at me and dances a little bit like, haha. And I want to smack her, but I don't because I care about her.
Blink if
Yeah.
she's beating you.
Huh?
I said blink if she's beating you.
Dude, she's 1 foot out of frame.
she's like right fucking here. It's like
Cough
staring
here
at me.
teacher.
But like, and then the second game that if you're following me on Xbox, you'll see that I play is Maneater.
That game was fun.
Like
I would
all
say-
I'm doing is I'm a fucking shark swimming around eating people. That's all I do.
Oh,
The game's great. It's dumb as hell, stupid fun.
what was that one game on? I think it was on GameCube where you were just a flower in the wind or something like that. You remember that game?
That definitely sounds like a Nintendo game, that's for sure.
Yeah, you just
would make something like
had
that.
to go like
And
you had to go find a place where you could seed well.
I mean, that could be Leisure Suit Larry. That could be like that could be. So, but yeah, like you're saying, Psycho, like I just use those games just to get away from the day for a little bit, to wind down, to just relax, and I don't look for the graphics because I don't care.
So in that, as you just said, there is the reason that the gaming industry is failing with people our age, right? Isn't it? That's all we're looking for. We don't need all this fancy new shiny stuff. I think all we need is just something to satiate our desire to get out of this reality into somewhere that's a little more palatable to
Well, hold on, Adam. You said something interesting. The way you asked that, and it made me think of something. And now this is a question. These games that have the super realistic graphics, right? These hyper realistic and all that. Who are they being made for?
Yeah.
Who's the target audience on those?
Yeah,
games?
who is that for?
PC gamers.
Okay,
Freaks.
because it's not kids.
Nobody.
Kids are all about like Fortnite, right? Like, and those graphics aren't super hyper realistic. Like, so the young
silly
generation
looking.
doesn't give a shit about that either. So is it our generation that's into PC gaming that wants those graphics?
Listen here. Here's a theory. I think we were striving for that because when we were all growing up in the late 90s and 2000s and buying all these games, we were like, wait, how good can it get? How good can it get? And now that we're all just like, oh yeah, we went too far. I think we went too far. This isn't a game anymore.
Has video game graphics become the Jurassic Park quote? Like, is that what's going on?
Think about whether or not
you-
think about whether or not they should.
Yeah, exactly. Is that what this has become?
Damn. Is that not a freaking idiom for everything? Yeah. We thought way too hard. How hard can we go with this? Like, hey, I'm super tired of real life. But oh man, yeah, you're right. It's too far.
But I mean, still,
Let's take
like, who do you guys feel like when it comes to these graphics? Who is it really being made for? Victor?
Based on whatever stupid marketing report they put out, some kind of test study in the AAA industry, it's like, yeah, let's just put this out. They'll like it. It's flashy. It's fun.
Well, I guess, like I said, like when it comes to it, like the younger generations are like, what are the biggest games in the younger generation? It's Fortnite. I know younger kids would do like Roblox or some shit, right? Where they have like a bunch of mini games and shit inside of it. But like, if the number one game amongst the young generation is Fortnite, and even older people are playing Fortnite like crazy, it's like one of the biggest games right now out there. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
I would say so, yeah.
So then these hyper realistic graphics, it has to be direct. It has to be directed at somebody. Somebody's buying it. They see an age range.
So what's your theory? You tell us then. What is
I
your?
have no fucking
this
idea.
Is really.
But that's
Yeah, you do.
That's kind of like the thing, right? Like, that is a very good question. Who are these games being made for?
They're selling.
People are starting to care less and less about that kind of thing. Because the cool thing is you can stay old and new at the same time. There's a,
Thank you. I feel good about that. I'm old and new. I like
yes.
that.
So, what's his name?
Well,
who left us? His name is slipping me right now. Tony.
Turtle.
He was talking about side scrollers, and he specifically mentioned Turtles. And provided the game isn't new now, but there's kind of this like revival of beat 'em ups.
Well, yeah, Shredder's Revenge was like
exactly
that game. I love that game.
So there's that, right? You have Streets of Rage 4 that hadn't seen a new game since the Sega Genesis.
Streets of Rage.
You know, that's a thing. There's a new Scott Pilgrim game now, which we haven't seen since the Xbox 360, right? These are all side scrollers that exist.
Yep.
If you're into or beat 'em ups, not side scrollers.
And
if
that's
you-
a simplicity level, I think.
Yes. So like you can get that. And the great part about that is a lot of times they're at a fraction of the cost versus these games that you're referring to that who the hell wants them? Right?
Fraction of a cost, endless playability.
The other thing that we left out of this entirely, which I do think contributes highly to anybody who might be tired of whatever, you don't want to just play yet another hero shooter, right?
Right.
You also don't want to play live service slop. These games that they put out with little to no effort. And actually, I'm going to come down on Sony for this because they put
Fucking Sony.
because they put like this is relevant though. Like they've had a year or two where they put a huge focus
Wait, he's not
on
even here to defend himself.
like a lot of what they were putting their money into were live service games that failed within the year, if not months. Right?
live
not the-
service games. Is that the ones you have to be online to play?
No, so live service is essentially you
Over and over again.
yeah, it's in fact you brought up Fortnite. Like that's a big
Okay.
that's the best example of that. You have
Okay.
you have your one platform, you might get some updates for it, but within the game, like the way they make their money is microtransactions consistently. You have season
That's
passes.
bullshit.
You have just it just doesn't stop. It's like in your face, right? You gotta everything you're doing. Oh, you want to build faster? Give us money. Oh, you want this special gun? Give us money. It's especially it becomes more the case when it comes to mobile with a genre called gacha
Oh, no.
games.
Gotcha.
They're
'Cause
literally
when
designed
you were
for that
saying
kind
it,
of thing as
my,
well.
my mind, I was picturing. There's been a lot of games recently. It's been quite the.
Let me fix that.
I don't know if it's like the rage, but there's been a lot of those games where the only way to play them is with an internet connection. Like you have to be on Xbox Live in order to play the game. There's no single player mode. It has to be like a multiplayer, online only game.
I mean, but that's a lot of games from a lot of different companies.
True.
Well, no, that's fine. I'm just saying when Victor, that's what made me think of it. When Victor said it was just that's what I thought he was talking about. Because I was thinking like that's another reason I started getting out of games was because I got tired of you have to be a member of our online community to be able to play this fucking game. And it's like I don't want to be on fucking Xbox Live. I just want to enjoy a game. But then they have franchises that came out with those games that I would have loved to have played, like Friday the 13th, but you can't play it unless you had like an internet connection type of thing.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but that's because that game is an esoteric game and it's not meant to be played single player. It's
I
meant to be
understand that, yes, I'm saying, but those games, like how a lot of Predator became a game like that, right? They did a lot of games like that, and especially of franchises that I enjoy. And I couldn't enjoy those games because I didn't have Xbox Live at the time to be able to go off and have a great time with those, and like that got fucking annoying. Victor bringing it up made me think of those games. Those weren't what he was talking about, but that's
Yeah.
where my mind went. It'd be like that.
Well,
Can I do a vocal test here real quick? Can anyone hear me? Am I breaking up on
You're
it?
breaking up a lot. Like
You
you
are
have
breaking up a
horrible
lot.
internet connection, I think, man.
I think someone
All
mentioned
right.
in chat
Well, let me.
about being
It's
on dial-up.
because I'm talking to
the problem
stupid
is,
headphones here. Hold.
in addition, yeah.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to tell him, in addition to him breaking up, he's delayed, so he comes through late.
Oh.
He's got to get that connection figured out if he's gonna,
Probably not the first time he's been told he's late.
No, it's I don't know, man. It's gaming is in an interesting space because I still enjoy gaming. I still pick up games, but I'm a lot more selective in what I buy now. And I was telling Victor, I almost never pay full price for games anymore. So the most recent game I paid full price for, I guess technically, is the Monday Night War edition
Oh,
of
shit. He's back. And looks better.
2K26, right? But I didn't pay full price for that. Che actually gave me a bunch of money towards it because he wanted me to play it at the same time.
It's about fucking time because you bought that man a lot of games over his life.
And then before that, the last game I paid full price for was Harry Potter, or whatever. It wasn't Harry Potter. It was like Hogwarts or something like that. But I never played it. And the game's like 3 or 4 years old, and I bought it and I never played it. And that was the game that really got me to say, you know what? When it comes to these Xbox games, I'm not paying for things full price anymore. I know that as much as I want to say when GTA 6 launches at $100, I'm not going to buy it, but I'm going to buy it because I enjoy those games. And hopefully it won't be as terrible as Red Dead Redemption 2 was. But it's kind of, I think you have to be more selective.
I do.
And it's kind of, yeah.
I love Red Dead.
Let's do a little round table real quick. I know Adam doesn't do a lot of games because he's a busy man. And I've gotten kind of out of the whole gaming thing. But between the two of you, Psycho and Kid Mac, when you look at your most recent system,
yep.
When you compare the amount of video games you own for that system versus the amount of video games you had when, say, the Nintendo GameCube came out, which one did you have more games?
I mean, obviously, when the system first comes out, you're gonna have.
Well, no, I don't mean like the week it came out, but I mean like in the era of when GameCube was your main system.
So I think that's.
No,
I have more games now, but it's because I'm buying them myself. When the GameCube came out, I was still in school, right? I wasn't buying them myself.
All right, Adam, you got a lot of feedback, man. I'm gonna have to mute you until you figure that out, brother. I can't. He's like, I'm trying to test it. What happened?
No, it's still.
Yeah, it's not.
It's still bad.
Definitely.
Bad feedback, brother.
This is using only my phone.
Okay.
You sound beautiful. You're
now it's much better, right? Like, okay, so hey, guess what? I had Sony headphones and a fucking Sony little speaker I was trying to use here. So Sony, thanks.
No, Psycho's been
Fuck
saying that all
Sony.
night.
I'm using.
I haven't said that once.
Where's the iPhone manufactured? Singapore or something?
Okay, so
It's
Psycho,
the
I
joke
guess
of the
I'm
episode. We just have to keep
So-
going with it.
All right,
So
so
your point is that you have more games for your current system because you buy them yourself versus when you were a kid,
of
obviously you couldn't afford it.
yes,
Okay.
but it's
So I
also
guess-
like you're talking. I don't know if Victor still has his game collection, but it's also difficult because you're talking to someone that collects old video games. So I have almost
Okay, so
300 NES
then-
games. You know what I mean?
Then-
Like,
okay, John, get off it. Okay. So the point of what I was trying to ask, and I guess the point that I'm trying to make too, is that when I was a kid, I had a lot more games, a lot more variety, and a lot more things I enjoyed. Whereas a lot of these newer systems now, there might only be 2 games I'm really fucking even interested in potentially playing. Right? Like it seems like there's a lot more trash games right now than there is something of a decent quality. And that's just a personal preference, most likely for me and what I like to play. But I feel like that's possibly a very big thing amongst people too. Like a lot of people are going to be buying the new generation just for GTA 6, and that's it. Like if you want, you have to buy the new system. And I told you before, I haven't bought any of the new systems because when I look at the game selection, there's not enough games there that I want to play to justify even thinking about spending $700 on a fucking PlayStation.
yeah.
It's just not there.
Did you just stumble across the conspiracy that they're not going to release GTA 6 until the next gen console
No,
is out?
Chris is talking about these current consoles. They're not. GTA is coming out on the Series X and the PS5.
Oh, is it? I figured it was going to be the next gen. So that's
It'll
not bad.
probably be
That's-
re-released. at the next-
This is
It'll probably be re-released. at the
no
next-
one was listening to him. No one was listening.
just like GTA 5 has been. It came out in 2013. It's been released like 4 times. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Oh man,
Unbelievable.
I don't know where you guys want to go now. I'm kind of.
I think I'm
Well,
about
okay, let's start talking. All right. So Duck Hunt, that was
What the
epic,
fuck?
right? I mean, imagine that. You could shoot your gun at your TV and have it respond to you. That was mind-blowing to me and everyone else around me too. How the hell did that work without a fucking sensor bar like Xbox did? How the hell?
Well, the screen went
fucking
dark
figured it
real
out.
quick and put up a white square, and the thing read it.
Yes, we all know how it works, but it
Oh,
blew
yeah,
our
you
minds.
asked. You literally said, "How the hell did that work without a sensor bar?"
like the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Hey, John, I don't know if you remember, but I had R-Zone. Do you remember? Anyone here remember R-Zone? The
The
first.
Toys R Us part with video games.
No, the
No,
like
it's a heads up. It was a heads up display game.
Oh shit!
You wore it with a strap over your head, and it had a little screen, a HUD screen right over
It was
you.
for
One eye.
Nintendo?
You looked like. No, it was a
It was its own
100% a standalone. Yep, and there was a Batman game on it.
'Cause I
Batman.
think what I'm
and
picturing
Robin.
when you're saying that, Adam, I'm picturing the kid on the box of that giant
Yeah.
Nintendo bazooka. I feel like he had like a
Super
headpiece
scope.
on that had like a
Yeah,
red
yeah.
screen
The
over his
green,
eye.
yep.
for
He had a
that
green
bazooka.
screen over, bringing up, all those calculations, yada yada, all that stuff that we were learning after we watched like Hunt for Red October and like Top Gun and what was that other movie, The Rock?
Could you imagine if one of these systems right now, if Xbox is like, hey guys, here's the bazooka, and they gave you a giant fucking bazooka to play video games with? That'd be amazing.
Guess how many people would buy? They'd sell 1 billion units the first fucking freaking day.
And people would play the game for 20 minutes, be like, all right, and they'd be done with it.
They'd hang it up on the wall. No, it'd be like a showpiece. Like you come over, like, hey, you want to handle my saber? You know,
Oh,
you just have it up on the wall.
well,
Bring
Adam,
it down.
I'd
Yes.
hate to say, man, but I think we're getting ready to get off here. But I wish you'd gotten on, earlier and get you a better internet connection so we can see and hear you much better from the get go.
I think it was me just being on those stupid Sonys. And,
Well, no, even now
yeah.
you're still occasionally breaking up and going a little haywire.
Well, you guys are too, by the way.
But
Yes.
it sounds like you have an internet problem.
Yes.
Well,
Just
all right.
saying.
It's just me. Everyone else is having a perfect stream. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say my stream is perfect, but I'm running, a terabyte connected directly into it. So
Oh man, remember?
Mine goes
remember the
wonky
old
from time to
days?
time if I move too fast. But
Remember the old days when we were jealous of people who had those? What are they called? T1.
Absolutely.
Remember that T1, T3?
I mean, look, I had
We
my
would all
56K while everyone
we
else
would
was
be
bragging
on-
about T1 and DSL, so I get it.
yeah, I mean, if you didn't have
DSL.
if you didn't have that old AOL dial-up sound at one point in your life, then have you even ever actually experienced the internet?
That's right.
all right, so
Correct.
let's wrap this up.
All right.
All right.
So we got I know next week, obviously we got Drinks and Toys on Tuesday. I think at either 8 or 8:30. It's been kind of going back and forth, depending on people's availability to be there, which really is my availability to be there. So we got that. There's never a topic chosen for Drinks and Toys until about 2-3 minutes into Drinks and Toys. Then a topic seems to arise. So can't tell you what to look for there. Next week, though, on Collector's Hideout, we hadn't discussed a topic for next week, but I feel like I don't know if we've ever done a specific topic of this, but because Adam did mention it earlier, I want to discuss sequels that were better than the originals.
Okay.
Not
Ooh, that
reboots,
was
not
good.
remakes, but actual sequels.
Yeah. Correct. I'm 100% on board with that. If we stick to that, and I'll make some notes here. Actually, now I've been keeping notes.
but I've been keeping notes. So
Sounds
gotta,
like a goddamn
uh,
robot.
yeah,
Yeah,
sequels
You
that are
gotta get.
better
You
than
gotta
the
figure out
original.
your internet.
Yeah, you're back to all robot language, Adam. But keep your notes.
Okay, okay.
We'll discuss whatever. So, but yeah, I think
Shifting
You-
back to Wi-Fi now. Here, hold on.
Psycho, you think you're down with that?
Works for me.
All right, Victor, if you want to partake, you know you're more
Right.
than welcome to come on. If you want to partake in that nonsense, it's probably gonna be a lot of "I'm right, you're wrong" conversation. But
The usual.
Look, that did not happen tonight. What are you even
No,
talking
look, for all the shit. All right, so I know we're like wrapping this up, so I don't want to like cut off your wrap up. We already went over time, didn't we? Like
about?
That's right.
Oh.
Everyone wants to do 2 hours. And
the like
That's
main thing is just like there are so many reasons to, regardless of any potential bias or anything like that, there are so many reasons, if literally just as simple as gaming with intent. There are a lot more reasons to, I think now that like they keep piling up, reasons to feel disconnected or checked out of gaming entirely than to necessarily participate in it because of the amount of enshittification and hell, we didn't even talk about the amount of slop that's on the Steam store or even the Nintendo eShop. You're going to find some not very much E for everyone games if you look hard enough. And actually, you don't even need to look that hard.
you say that it almost makes me want to buy one to check them out. So,
Damn it, Chris.
huh?
I said, damn it, Chris.
God damn it! I mean, I like what I like. So,
Just go to
all right.
eBay, get BMX XXX.
all right, so before we go, let me just put this down because I wrote it down. So let's just say, okay, sequels that are better than, on par with, or lesser
Than the originals, yeah.
perhaps than the original. We can like score it, perhaps I don't know, tally it or something. You give it a score of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 if you want to be more precise with your measurements.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it right here, and I'll have to remind it. But there's gonna be a movie that's gonna be mentioned, and that movie is gonna be mentioned quick because we've had like a whole episode based on that.
Back to the
franchise.
Future. I bet it's fucking Back to the Future, isn't
It's
it?
not. That fucking
Well,
movie.
It
So-
should be. Because
so-
number 2 is better. Huh? Is better
There's a
than
movie
the first.
that if anybody who's watched and knows me, that
What?
I would.
John?
It's gonna
You
be
don't think
said,
so?
but we're not gonna discuss it. We're just gonna do it quick because we've done whole episodes about the franchise, and it's not Back to the Future.
Agreed.
It
I'm not
better not be
saying you're
Aliens either.
wrong, but that's just not the one I'm referring to. So
Well, Aliens, you would be right that absolutely. That's one
So-
that they like struck gold and they took
Adam,
off with
save
that.
it. Save it and fix
Okay.
your internet so you'll be good for next week. God damn it!
Is it still bad? Fuck, dude, I
Yeah,
might have to go like
learn how to,
Starbucks
get
or
a computer
something.
and wire it in or something. You get.
I
much
have
better
5 bars of Wi-Fi right now, and that's what.
connection. So next week, sequels.
Love it.
Victor, do you have anything going on that you need to promote at all, or are you still just kind of limbo?
Limbo. Hopefully soon, but
All right,
limbo for right
so-
now.
Victor's playing island games, man. He's doing the limbo. I like it. Okay,
Mhm.
but what? Really,
I got no comment.
Limbo.
that wasn't bad. Like I don't feel like that deserved a head shake. Like the shit Tony says gets head shakes. I get it. I get it.
Jack,
Like, that-
limbo, Jack, be quick.
Like that was nothing.
Jack-
But whatever.
Jack, go
Cool.
on the limbo stick.
Oh Jesus Christ! I triggered him. My bad. I forgot. Tourette's.
Let's still
That
do
was-
the limbo rock.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I
God.
guess we're getting out
You
of
say
here.
limbo.
So,
So yes, thanks guys for coming. Thanks for everybody in the chat. We had like 11 viewers at once. That was a fucking high for us. So hey, I get my phone
love
said
you
I got a
all
new subscriber. It's been great.
so much.
So
This
thanks,
has
guys.
also been great. Thank you for having me.
yeah, man. Next week, same time, 9:00, we'll be here.
I'll be there, and I'll have some more things back there.
sounds good.
Perfect. I'll see you guys later.
I'll be better.
Later.
Oh
Bye.
man.